right, so starting off with effect number 1, the opening thing, what did you use?
Yes, sir, that starts with nothing but the Nemesis. We're on the shifter preset, and as you can hear, whatever note I play, it repeats it, and it rises an octave each time. So it starts off pretty high with the harmonic thing. It gives kind of an eerie Halloween feeling. We're a little bit late, but Merry Christmas. Yeah, that's number 1.
It's very horror filmish.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, the mix is, about half, so you hear the dry, and it kind of rings out, and I leave it ringing out, and you can still hear that, but it's nice that the mix is pretty high in there too. So it's just a good blend of everything in there. And the feedback's at about 25%. This guy here.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty much number 1.
And then next.
So for the next one, I'm turning on the lunar.
And what are you using here to switch channels?
This is the Soul Man. As you can see, when I go to number 2, it says lunar. I titled it myself.
How'd you come up with that name?
Well, many months of just sleeping on it, thinking about it.
Oh, okay.
I had some counsel, and
that wouldn't be a phaser sound, would it?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the phaser. I'm using the 12-stage phaser setting. I dialed it in with the Neuro app, and
so this is not a sound that's on the pedal itself.
Right now, it somewhat represents it there. Except, there's some deeper parameters in the app that I also tweaked in there too. For instance, like the low retain, I didn't want it to lose all of its low end and kind of go through the whole phase process, so I cut it off at 89 hertz. So basically anything below 89 hertz is, just untouched. It's still the bass, and everything above that is going through the phaser effect, which, as you can hear, sounds like this. Basically, that's what I'm doing for the next section of the song.
Cool.
Yeah.
Then what?
Then I'm basically playing the same chords, but I switch over to the flanger. The Mercury flanger, to be exact. And I'm using the through 0 effect. As you can see, the toggle switch isn't on it, but when I access it via the hub, it doesn't matter. It'll just pull up whatever I saved it as. The delay is just under half. The mix is, still about 50-50, pretty high. Still a good amount of clean in there. And what else? Same story with the low retain setting, keeping it at about 90. And that's where I do the strumming pattern, where it goes like this. So that's how we get that section.
And then next?
Next we have the bigger drums, I shouldn't have done that. It can do it on its own. I'll go back and forth.
Show us that again.
Back and forth.
So we're switching
from the flanger to the chorus, just like that.
Nice.
And this is the section where things start to get a little bit more intense. The drums come in a little heavier, and I play this riff. And as you can see, that's the chorus. I'm using the quad chorus setting. The delay is just under the maximum. The depth is about 40%, speed is about 50%, and slightly more wet in the mix this time. And kind of the same story again with the low retain setting. I'm having it at just above 100 hertz, so I don't lose that low end.
So you did make adjustments with the Neuro app to get that sound?
Yeah. So in the Neuro app, you're able to do things like the low retain, or even just different parametric kind of controls. I think it's like a 4-band EQ in there, and then you can select the frequencies of each. So it has a lot to offer under there. It's like an additional 30 knobs, if you will. And let's see, next I go into a little riff, the fuzz flange. So I'm using this and the aftershock the Mercury and the Aftershock to get this really nice, kind of cool synthy tone. And it goes like this. Yeah.
The way the flanger rings on the harmonics.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, the flange sounds great. The Aftershock really kind of boosts the signal through it. Here it is without the Aftershock. So you can hear the Aftershock really brings a lot more higher kind of frequency harmonic content to it.
And then,
let's see, then we go into the metal section, which is just the Aftershock. I'm using it on the heavy setting, the drive about 75%, the level about 65%, it just depends on your amp, and the clean is 25%. It sounds, pretty fuzzy. The interesting thing though is in the mix, it takes a lot more drive and fuzz to be heard. If it's just a little bit dialed in, it might not make it all the way through the mix, so you'll notice it's pretty dirty sounding.
you're right, it does sound a lot dirtier than it does in the track.
Yeah.
But there's the clean in there, right? So
right. Yeah, so I can dial in. Here it is completely clean. And then you start to dial it in. Here it is at 100% wet. And then it goes back to clean while getting rid of some of the high. Sorry. Yeah, like that. So I think I had it right about there.
okay.
Yeah. And I had the tone all the way up because that gives you the max amount of high frequencies. It's still dirty, but it's still pretty low. And I wanted all the high.
Sound right in the middle.
This one I had all the way at max.
Cool. We hear the tone sort of at 50%,
Yeah.
like right 12 o'clock.
So that's probably, if I were just playing it standalone, I'd probably want it to sound more like that. But with the drums and the hi-hats and the guitars, in order for it to cut through a little bit better, I'll keep that high in there.
Okay, very nice.
So I go through that riff like this again. The Mercury and the Aftershock. Then I bring in the tremolo right when I hit the harmonics. You can actually dial in different shapes. There's a sawtooth. There's a square.
It's all the points in between too, right?
Yeah, everything in between. And listen here, I have the depth at max. I have the level all the way up. Just because you kind of, I don't know what to call it. There's a perceived loss in volume, not technically, but it's just nice to have the little boosts when you add the tremolo. And what is this here? The speed I just kind of have almost matching the tempo of the song, but it doesn't need to be exact. And in the very last section, I add the nemesis delay. And it basically gives it this really cool ringing out sound. And then you can adjust it via the time knob.
But you use the expression pedal in the video, right?
Yes, I use the reflex for that.
And that, I believe, is the end.
Yes, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to post them and we'll get right back to you.